Hey, Jeff here. I'm spending a little time in the greater Albany, New York area visiting the grave sites of two of our U.S. presidents in my own personal celebration of USA 250. I'm visiting the sites of the 8th President Martin Van Buren and the 21st President Chester Arthur. So why don't you hang around and see what I have to say about them. I'm in the Albany Rural Cemetery in Menands, New York, or I think that's how it's pronounced, I'm not sure. Behind me is the burial site of the 21st President of the United States, Chester Arthur, who was born in Vermont, and he became president after the assassination of James Garfield. He never really wanted to be president. He kind of was a compromise selection, I think, at the time, according to a book I read. But while he was there, he reformed the civil service, reformed the Navy, so he's kind of known for reforming the bureaucracy, let's put it that way. And he also had great sideburns. So he's probably the most recognizable president's face with the sideburns and the mustache that you've ever seen. But anyway, here it is, and it's a nice little setup, a very kind of a fabulous sort of, I'm not sure what that is, sort of a decorative with an angel over a big coffin, I guess. Very fascinating. Let's take a closer look at that. Sort of shooting right into the sunshine here, but there's a better look at the Chester Arthur tombstone. This is a nice memorial with the stairs and the flowers, though it looks like they haven't replaced the flowers in a bit. So it's also one of the only areas at the moment of the cemetery that's really been mowed. They've been doing some mowing, but this part of the cemetery around me has not been hit yet. But there it is. U.S. flag. I'm shooting right into the sun just because I'm here in the morning. So there it is. Chester A. Arthur. There's another controversy involving him. Some people question whether he was even born in the United States. There's been some speculation over the years he was born in Canada, but his official birthplace is Fairfield, Vermont, which is really a short distance from the Canadian border in northern Vermont. So this is a write-up about the president himself. I'm in the Reformed Church of Kinderhook, New York, and this is the burial site of the 8th President of the United States, Martin Van Buren. And it's a beautiful town, about a half hour or so from Albany, very quaint little community. Martin Van Buren's claim to fame during his presidency, other than his sideburns, I guess, was the fact that he is sort of the founder of the modern Democratic Party. And it's a nicely maintained site done by the Kinderhook Garden Club, I think the sign said. His wife is buried here, former First Lady, Hannah, also buried here. The burial site of President Martin Van Buren, 8th President of the United States. And his family. You can see the name Van Buren on a bunch of these old stones. And here is the actual sign that marks the gravesite. Let's walk around the entire stone. It's a nice tall obelisk, nicely maintained. Matter of fact, there's a sign here that talks about who maintains it. Maintained by the Garden Club of Kinderhook is what that sign says. Been on my bucket list a long time to visit the grave sites of the presidents. I've seen Calvin Coolidge's, Franklin Pierce, of course, who lives in New Hampshire, or was from New Hampshire. That one's only a few miles from my house. So I'm also going to visit other sites, possibly during the course of the summer. Well, as I walk away from the cemetery and head back to my car, it makes me wonder what people really remember about the two presidents I featured today, Martin Van Buren and Chester Arthur. They're not names that come to mind immediately when you're talking about former presidents of the United States, even though they had their own accomplishments in their own way. But one thing for certain, must be something about those sideburns. Both of our sideburn presidents, I like to call them, are buried in the greater Albany area. So I wonder what Albany and sideburns have to do with each other. But anyway, thanks for watching. I will catch you again another time.